In terms of his release, they said Combs would submit to drug testing. Prosecutors argued strongly against Combs' release. Prosecutors pointed to testimony from the trial in arguing why Combs should remain in custody. They said that his team did not contest that he was physically violent and a rampant drug user. In a letter submitted to the judge, the government said, quote, "A detention is mandatory following a conviction of this offense. The government has been unable to locate a case in which a defendant was released from custody following such a conviction."
Things are getting strange inside those prison walls, especially when it comes to Diddy. Rumors are spreading fast about what's really going on behind bars, and it's not just about celebrity gossip, it's about serious health concerns. Word is, a nurse working at the prison got a look at Diddy's medical records, and what she saw was shocking. According to the talk, his file wasn't just about regular checkups or basic issues. It was packed with documentation about multiple STDs, and not the kind that go away quickly. Some of these infections seem to be long-term, and that's got everyone inside the facility feeling nervous. It's not just that Diddy's in prison, it's that he still acts like he's in charge, still surrounded by people, still being treated like a star. And inmates are starting to worry, especially with all the talk about his medical history. If he's really dealing with serious infections like herpes or worse, HIV, then his active social life behind bars could be putting others at risk too. This isn't the first time people have raised eyebrows about Diddy's health. Long before he was arrested, people started noticing he looked different. When he showed up in court, his appearance had changed, he'd lost a lot of weight, and folks began whispering that it wasn't just stress or bad food. Some speculated he was battling something deeper, something affecting his body from the inside.
You know, the next thing is, man, Craig Mack was the one that jumped Bad Boy off. And you know, and it got so bad that Craig Mack, who died from AIDS, that man, he got brainwashed so bad from Diddy and got done so wrong. The man went to South Carolina and joined a cult with his family until he died of AIDS a few years ago.
That nurse's leak only confirmed what many had feared for a while. This didn't start in jail, it followed him there. But let's rewind a bit, because Diddy's story goes way back. Take Craig Mack, for example, the rapper who helped launch Bad Boy Records. He had a promising start in music, but suddenly he disappeared from the spotlight. Years later, it turned out he had left the music industry completely and joined a religious group in South Carolina. Sadly, he passed away in 2018, and the cause was related to AIDS. That loss made people start asking questions.
You're telling me I'm HIV negative?
Absolutely HIV negative, that you're endangered.
Craig Mack's sudden shift, the isolation, and his death raised suspicions about what really drove him away. Some believe he witnessed something dark in that world and chose to walk away rather than be part of it. With what we now know or suspect about Diddy's lifestyle, some are wondering if Craig saw something that scared him into silence. Fast forward to today, and Diddy's situation in prison is causing a wave of concern. Insiders say he's not keeping to himself, and some prisoners are reportedly getting close to him. Combine that with the rumors of his medical records showing serious infections, and it's easy to see why some inmates are uneasy. In a place where protection is limited, that kind of risk doesn't just affect one person, it could affect many. And this concern doesn't stop with just the prison. On the outside, Diddy was known for throwing wild, unfiltered parties. Stories have come out describing those gatherings as chaotic and unsafe, with no rules and very little concern for health or protection. When federal agents raided his homes, they reportedly found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil but no signs of condoms or anything promoting safety. People are now calling those parties more than just out-of-control events. Some say they were breeding grounds for disease. Guests were reportedly invited into high-risk situations with no limits, and now more and more individuals who were part of that world are speaking up. Several women have stepped forward saying they contracted herpes and believe they were exposed through people connected to Diddy's circle. Not all are naming him directly, but the timing, the crowd, and the connections are starting to form a pattern. One voice that really stirred things up was Jaguar Wright. In a powerful interview, she claimed Diddy has been living with HIV for some time, and she hinted that many other men in the music industry are in the same boat.
Real black neighborhoods, so real black families could have that opportunity just like everybody else.
I mean, he actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You wanna know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G?
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names.
According to her, there's a list of names 20 in total, but she's keeping those names to herself for now. One name that keeps coming up in conversation is Usher. Now, Usher lived with Diddy when he was just 13. In an interview with Howard Stern, he talked about it lightly at first, but when pressed, he admitted the environment was strange. He even said he wouldn't let his own kids go through that experience. And later, Usher faced lawsuits from people who said he gave them herpes. Put all that together, and people are wondering, did something happen back then that shaped everything that came after? And then there's Jonathan Audi, a former adult actor who lost control and opened fire at a resort in Puerto Rico in 2018. During his breakdown, he claimed he had been involved with both Diddy and Cassie. At the time, people dismissed him as mentally unstable. But now, court documents show his photo in a list of people allegedly hired by Diddy. That changes the conversation. What sounded crazy years ago might not have been so far-fetched after all.
Died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
Then there's the heartbreaking story of Kim Porter, the mother of some of Diddy's children and someone he was with for years. She died suddenly in 2018, and now whispers are surfacing that she may have been HIV positive. If that's true, and she knew about Diddy's condition, her sudden death becomes even more suspicious. Did she know too much? A pattern is starting to form. People close to Diddy either fade into the background, suffer in silence, or tragically disappear. Some are asking how many were paid to stay quiet. How many were threatened or signed contracts to never speak out? Even rapper Meek Mill was dragged into this. After someone mentioned a Philly rapper, who used to date Nicki Minaj, as possibly being involved in Diddy's private world, all eyes turned to Meek. He fired off tweets about people trying to silence him and even offered a reward for the truth, but to many, it felt like he was doing damage control. Then a clip surfaced showing Diddy calling Meek daddy, and people started putting the puzzle together. There have also been whispers about others: French Montana, Yo Gotti, even Usher again, all possibly tied to this hidden world, and maybe even receiving hush money to keep quiet. Back in prison, nothing seems to have changed. Diddy still moves like he's a VIP. Insiders say inmates fight to do things for him like make his bed or bring his meals. But others claim he's also getting involved with certain inmates, and that's where the fear kicks in. If the rumors about his health are true, then this isn't just celebrity gossip, it's a major risk inside a place where protection is scarce. Guards are worried. Inmates are talking. And the mood around Diddy isn't just about his fame anymore. It's about fear, real fear. So now the big question is, how deep does this go? And more importantly, how many people got hurt before the truth started coming out? Now, after everything we've just uncovered, from the medical records to the history of wild parties, the whispers in prison, the lawsuits, and the heartbreaking losses, one thing is clear: this isn't just a celebrity scandal. This is a tangled web of secrets, silence, sickness, and fear. Diddy's story isn't just about music and fame anymore. It's about what happens when power goes unchecked for too long. When people in high places move recklessly, hurt others, and use money or influence to cover it up. It's about how the entertainment industry can sometimes protect the wrong people while pushing the truth into the shadows. Think about the number of names tied into this. Craig Mack, Usher, Kim Porter, Jonathan Audi, even Meek Mill and other artists caught in the rumor mill. And the deeper you dig, the more the stories start to sound the same: people who were close to Diddy, people who saw too much, people who changed, vanished, or tragically lost their lives. It's no longer just a coincidence. It's a pattern. And the real question is, how many more stories are out there, still hidden? Because if the rumors are true, if people have been getting sick for years, if infections have been passed around without warning, if lives have been damaged just to protect an image, then this is bigger than one man. It's about accountability. It's about the people who got caught in the crossfire of Diddy's lifestyle, many of whom may never speak up because they're afraid, embarrassed, or were paid to stay quiet. And let's talk about the system. How many times did people ignore the red flags? How many times did the industry turn a blind eye because the money was good and the fame was louder than the truth? If even a fraction of what's being whispered is real, it's proof that fame can't protect you forever, not from the truth, not from disease, and not from the people who are finally ready to talk. And now that Diddy is behind bars, the whispers are only getting louder. Prison isn't silencing the storm, it's making it harder to hide. Guards are concerned. Inmates are talking. Even people on the outside are starting to piece things together. The rumors aren't going away. If anything, they're growing, gaining momentum with every leak, every lawsuit, every brave voice that decides to speak up. So, what happens next? Will more people come forward? Will we finally hear from the ones who were silenced? Will the full truth come out, or will the cycle of silence continue? At this point, it's not just about what Diddy did or didn't do. It's about the environment that allowed it to happen, the victims whose stories haven't been told, and the questions we're still left asking. Because once you start connecting the dots, you realize this isn't just one man's downfall, it's the collapse of a whole hidden system built on secrets. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about all this? Is Diddy the face of a much deeper problem? Are the rumors legit, or are they part of a smear campaign? Who's really protecting who in the music world? Drop your thoughts in the comments, no filter. Let's talk about it. And if you made it this far, you already know we're just scratching the surface. Hit that like button if you want part 2. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the next video will go even deeper. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. This rabbit hole goes way deeper than you think. Stay woke, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.